Consciousness and thoughts are not the same thing. You are consciousness. Thoughts come from your mind. Your mind is conditions. Consciousness is observing that. The reason why you are always so unhappy is because you have left consciousness and you have identified with every single thought that's coming into your brain. That means every thought that you have that is self-hating and critical, you believe it. You actually think that it's you talking to yourself. And so if you are still convinced that that's your voice because it sounds like you, those are the thoughts you constantly say, I'm going to give you an incredible metaphor to help explain this. So when you watch Toy Story, right? And there's Woody and there's Buzz Lightyear, specifically Woody, right? He has that little string at the back, right? And when you pull it, there is a factory setting, default settings. You pull it and it goes, there's a snake in my boot, right? That is what a thought is like, right? But Woody is not those sayings, right? The kid or himself can even pull that string, but he has a consciousness that's separate from those thoughts. Now, every other Woody that's made in the factory has that exact same factory setting. So consider all the negative thoughts that you have that have been put into your mind by being conditioned in society, the matrix, if you will. I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. I'm so ugly. Everyone hates me. Those are your factory settings, right? Or they're not actually your factory settings. They're the settings that you downloaded. It's like your iOS download since you came to Earth. Now, every time you hear those things, you think those are true and those are me. But no, when you watch the movie Toy Story, Woody knows that there's a snake in my boot, right? That saying that comes out, that's just like his factory setting. He has like a whole separate consciousness that has the creative ideas and heart and courage and ambition outside of that. If he does not recognize this separate consciousness, then he's just a toy. He's just a puppet. So a spiritual awakening then is the recognition that those aren't my thoughts. Those are thoughts that were basically downloaded, the factory setting, if you will, the default setting, because consider the fact that they're so unoriginal. Like everyone thinks them, right? So it's like you're just all little puppets thinking the same thoughts that everyone has been downloading and then therefore passed on to you, right? But you wake up when you recognize that you are the conscious observer of all of that and you have unique original thought, which is why the people who have quote unquote awakened seem to have more creative abilities because they're no longer identified with the factory setting. They basically like deinstalled that and like taken over and basically gone manual. It's like I'm gonna manually program myself instead of like using the default settings, right? I'm going to customize my programming. I'm going to choose my own thoughts. I'm going to choose my own beliefs. I'm going to live by my own preferences and desires. And so when you hear a negative thought, instead of just believing it and letting it run on the train and attract more thoughts like it, I want you to just pause and ask yourself, would I have ever chosen to think this on purpose? Or did it just think you? Right? Was that just the snake in my boot, right? And so every time I hear, I'm so ugly, I'm not trying hard enough, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm like, those are just the factory settings. Like those are just like old remnants of my old conditioning. I don't think that's me thinking that. Who I really am at my core, my soul, could never be self-hating thoughts. Who I really am is the thoughts, beliefs, and actions I choose to take. So if I think a belief like, I can't do anything right, would I have chosen that thought on purpose for me? Or would I have chosen that thought on purpose for someone else? The answer is like immediately no. So unless I'm choosing the thought and it's just in my field, right? It's just something that I'm thinking. It's a snake in my boot. I'm ugly. I'm unworthy, whatever. I know now that that's not me. That's just the programming.